Gleaming, you know, sometimes the Greymane, more commonly the Sergeant Hammer, the Tracer Dive that we've seen to counteract that. This is a map where if you want to go for that poking composition, you have to control the draft. Miracle has the draft here. This is their best chance to take a first win and take the momentum. If they lose this map, they're good, you know, going to be hitting first pick each time, but I feel like they'll have the map control taken away from them, and I do feel if they lose it, I think this is an 0-3 for them. They have to take this first map. I think that's so important.
Yeah, both teams knowing each other so well, they really have to have something else in their strategy, and they really have to bring out the surprise card from the beginning, as you said, or else they may just lose the momentum and fall into the trap, as MVP Black is still the favorites of the series. And here we go.
Here we go. Game number 1. Let's see how quick this one goes. TAS insta-locked here for Miracle. I imagine Black will take the Vala away. There it is. And let's see what Miracle wants to roll with here in this first rotation.
Most likely Malfurion, but let's see if anything changes here.
Could be the Li Ming though. I would not have any problems with that. Because that's the question you have to ask is it worth committing to the Li Ming on this map? And I'd say yes.
And is Black going to take away Muradin or pick Arthas themselves? Those tank front lines were the first rotations where also L5 and Tempest also had very big draft fights yesterday. So I'm sure we're going to see something similar with Miracle and Black coming up today.
This is a lot longer of a draft here, so perhaps they weren't expecting the Li Ming first pick lock-in, but I would say that the Arthas play that we saw from Tist is good enough to warrant the Arthas pickup here. They're going to take Tyrael instead, though, so they want to control this dive composition that they're going to be playing against this poke comp. It's going to be poke versus melee. So we already have the Zeratul and Tyrael lock-in, and Miracle may just, from this moment, take the hammer and all in into this composition. It's going to be kind of a unstoppable force versus an immovable object situation here.
And also possibly take away ETC or ban it on the next ban phase. And we saw Tyrael plus ETC, the comp with Sanctification plus the Mosh was just outrageous, way too powerful. This is looking pretty like yesterday's draft with Tempest and L5 somewhat.
Yeah, it's very similar. Miracle not actually committing just yet. The Arthas is considered for a long time to be a soft counter to Tyrael play, and they will probably lock it in here since it was not taken away from them. The question is with what? Could just be the Malfurion. Okay, they're going to take Hammer, so they do all in on the poke, but they have the Malfurion to back it up, the roots that are going to help against the dive to kind of zone out that approach from the side of MVP Black. They may ban Arthas here, actually, because they're probably unlikely to take it themselves. They could, but it doesn't feel very strong.
With Li Ming and Hammer on the back line, and having Zeratul on the other side, is already pretty scary, and you know the power coming out from the Black. It's not the Zeratul from any other teams. So with knowing that, they have to be a little bit more defensive. I'd say Miracle would very likely to take Arthas, also take away some of the dive potentials. So MVP Black instead, they're going to ban it out.
I like this. Chromie is banned. That's one way that you ensure they're kind of forced into the dive situation. Chromie can also blow up a Sergeant Hammer in siege mode so quickly.
Also to make sure you don't get Chromie random pick.
Well, that was Miracle.
Yes, so
they're
banning it for them.
Self-ban, yeah.
Self-ban, yes.
I feel like this is a really weak ban overall, but it does guarantee a Sergeant Hammer a little bit more safety. And I do think already, like in terms of this map and objective, Miracle is winning this draft. The question is, what will Black do to turn this around? Will they grab the Greymane, for example, with this? It's not going to be as easy with no Tassadar if they want to go that deep into the Greymane sort of rotation.
So with Greymane, they would also kind of need Zarya for that shielding, even if they have Sanctification. So instead, they're going to go with Falstad and Kharazim to have the disengage and also to engage with the Gust, and Kharazim to finish off some blows and to heal back up.
So last 2 picks here for Miracle. They need a main tank. It may just be shoehorned into the Muradin here, as that's the only one really available at this moment in time. And the last pick for them will probably be some sort of secondary melee. With Arthas removed, Tyrael already taken, it's not an easy pick.
I think Muradin seems to be the way to go.
They may go down the ETC route, though. Let's not forget, ETC can really help them with the Rockstar passive, especially Sergeant Hammer, and can help against the Zeratul who wants to be really aggressive and dive in. The false stat here taken for Black, I feel, is almost purely just because of his Gust. Yes, he does do damage, but they want to have the ability to heavy engage. There's the ETC. They commit to it. They could do both, even. They could also lock in the Muradin here. Not out of the question. It's going to be Thrall, though. Wow, this is really...
a little surprising pick coming out from Miracle.
Yeah.
Here.
It's just not as tanky of a melee as they would have liked. But it does give them a lot of disengage potential with Earthquake. Could use it for kills if the fight goes really well for them. I'm trying to see the reason why they might go Sundering, and I can't make the argument right now. So for Black, they have 1 range damage in Falstad. They probably need a second. They have Tyrael and Zeratul together. The only other thing I could maybe see here is a Ragnaros pickup. You just have Molten Core to assist. You're really kind of all in on the damage for Falstad, though, if you do that. It's tough for him to do enough alone, especially when you're up against such a poke-heavy comp like Hammer and Li Ming, the dastardly duo that wins every objective on this map almost every time. Time is ticking here.
What's it gonna be?
Nazebo, so that's the secondary form of range damage they're going to go for. That's going to give the extra burn damage, if you will, on the Immortals, and can help put a timer on what Miracle is doing. If Miracle is unable to get into position, Zebo does work on that quite quickly. Falstad can do the same. He can also go for some extra soak. We don't really talk about globals on this map too often, but Falstad being able to soak a little bit extra, get that talent tier first, and then come in can be a boon, or fly in from an unexpected direction to get the Gust and turn and engage. I feel like in terms of the map, though, Miracle does win this draft. They need to win this first game, I feel, to take the momentum away from their sister team here to win this series. They are 1-2 in career games against Black. Let's go into game number 1 on Battlefield of Eternity. In blue, MVP Miracle has Honkono on ETC, Dami on Thrall, Sniper on Sergeant Hammer, Crazy Moving on Li Ming, and Darvish on Malfurion.
In red, MVP Black. Sake on Falstad, Reset on Nazebo, Tusk on Tyrael, Killcha on Zeratul, and Neride on Karazim.
Here's the fly-in from Sake to start things off.
And it is actually Q build coming out from Falstad. Getting that stack ready.
We don't really see that all too often right now.
Especially not in this map.
Looks like they want to try to punish Sniper, burst him down. Whenever he's in siege mode, they can definitely dive in to get the kill. They have the burst damage with the Q fall sad. You have Zeratul to come in. He Vorpals back in for a second time once he gets blown back by Sergeant Hammer's W. And you could definitely see the idea behind the Q build here. Especially because you're not going to be getting that much in lane for stacks. Honkono does go in very aggressively here, but he's unable to find any follow-up, even with the root. So, ends up being a pretty even trade in this level 1 exchange.
And also with Nazebo, having Li Ming on the other side, this gets very low, but this will just all drain away and takes out Hammer.
Sniper gets picked here. There's a bit of an overextension, and he got caught in that little the air vent there, the line of sight blocker right between those two terrain blocks. I don't know what to call them, little claws sticking up from the ground. So that's first blood over to MVP Black. And, you know, this map is a map where when Miracle goes kind of even, they end up winning the Immortal just based on poke if Black has to invade. And if Black can continue to get picks before the Immortal phase, they have a decent raise comp, especially because they have that in Nazebo now.
They have the poke. I think they can contest just from poking with the Zeebo and Falstad. I think that's also why they went for Q build on Falstad, because there's Leeming and Sergeant Hammer from the other side.
Yeah, so Miracle wants to be at worst even before this Immortal phase, and that's where they're at right now. You can see they're already getting into position to poke, and Black is going to rotate in to invade. This is going to be the story of this entire map, very likely. As you can see, Honkono just stunning so much. They've done already so much damage to this Immortal. As Black looks for the pick here onto Honkono, they get one. No more damage there, unfortunately, for Crazy Moving. Nearly got the pick, which could have led to more. Doesn't have Calamity yet either, so it's not looking to heavy engage that. But you can see the Immortals are evening up quite a bit after this pick. Big root here with the orb coming in to follow it up. Look at how much damage Sniper is putting off. Reset is insanely low. He actually has to Hearth home. And this just may be the win here for Miracle on this first Immortal phase with that forced Hearth alone. You can see what they try to do with Meride and Coaches here, but it's not going to be enough. Sake does come over. Well, this is going to be about a 3.5 shielded Immortal, I'd say. Yep, 3.3. So Miracle will take this first one. Black got 2 picks, which is still not quite enough. And that's one of the tougher Immortals too, the first one. It's tough to predict how that's going to go, but Black can definitely set up better for the next ones. And they actually have a slight EXP lead. We talked about how Falstad can get the extra soak, and that is what we are seeing here so far.
And Thrall, well, he chose Q build on 4, but on 1, he actually chose Block instead. Want to get that little bit more tankiness in the front line. I'm guessing that's what he's thinking. That's what a little, and that's also better for Black because they don't actually have too much auto attack build except for Zeratul.
The other thing that's cool about the level 1 Q is that you, it's really good for solo laning because you just kind of keep your mana up all the time. Since this isn't really a map where you're solo laning all too much, you know, you don't want to necessarily solo Q build it, if that makes sense. So giving them a little bit extra protection. You just see a nice attempted zombie wall there, but good retreat by Miracle. Now staying even, level 6, just a half a level behind. Black may have the talent tier advantage for that next Immortal. It's going to be close. They actually take this neutral Punisher camp. And these spears being chucked by the Goatmen now as they whittle down this this wall. You see the solo lane is going on here, but it's not really an aggressive solo lane.
Not at all. They're just scouting over each other, and Thrall is just watching and knowing that Zeratul is missing from the fight zone on top. Just being cautious. And so Black going for the camp a little bit quicker. Instead, and when the Immortal is not spawning yet, they just want to have that pressure and maybe force some siege damage onto the bot lane.
Even Falstad is actually joining them there, so not getting the extra soak on the top right now, but we'll go get it anyways. This means that the push is going to be towards the blue side when the Immortals spawn. We'll see if Miracle actually retreats to deal with that, since their timing was a little bit off, or if they just ignore it and hope that their camp does the same amount of damage on the other side as it comes down here. Okay, 7-7 here as the Immortals are spawned. And they're trying to kill the Shaman himself, the Fallen Shaman, so that it doesn't respawn the Tigers. But this is going to be a defensive position here for both teams. Miracle not fully in position, actually. So they're actually taking quite a bit more damage against Black here. And this is the awkward situation for Miracle because they can't really reasonably invade with this composition. They're more poking. So Black in great shape here, 3k lead in Immortal health.
Both camp just cleared up in the bottom lane also. So Black will also not have that pressure against the camps pushing on the bottom lane.
Yeah, both cleared on top and bot. We see a big power slide in here onto Reset. Can he get his way out of here? He's body blocked right now. But Meride comes in for the save, and Kyocha may re-engage in. Dodges the orb. Nicely done. Actually gets stunned there, though, and will be taken out. Good catch.
They could have caught Reset from the beginning, but Zeratul came in from the other side at the exact same time, so the aggro, he got aggro, the Meride has nowhere to dash.
This is the power of Calamity. Once you have it, you could fight a lot more with Li Ming on this map up against this more melee-heavy comp. Even he gets a Nazebo. They want the stun here. They get it. It's the root, really, there with the Thrall Spirit Wolf. Locking him in. And that's going to be several kills for MVP Miracle. They will still lose the Immortal, but they caught up a little bit more in EXP. So unfortunately, though, a pretty heavily shielded one. And they're still not going to have 10 to defend it. They had gotten a full wipe. Definitely would have been better for them, but they did well, all things considered.
And ETC, the crowd surfer, you can just queue over all those zombie walls and all the structures. And also hammer on, that's quite rare, even if this is a map where you don't need too much of a wave clear. And there's a big gust from the other side.
This is what I was talking about with Falstad in the draft. This is what they were looking for. They get the kill already there onto Sniper. And suddenly this Immortal that should have done a decent amount of damage is now going to get this fort with really only losing its shields. It could actually threaten to keep wall. And with Nazebo on your side, he's got such big pushing power. No one really talks about Nazebo like he's the best specialist in the world anymore. He's got great sieging power. But that is still just his nature by design to push these down. So he gets one cannon tower, the second one going to lose almost all of its ammo. And Sake is just sitting up here in the top lane getting so much free soak. As MVP Black used a bunch of heroics for this, but it feels well worth it. By the way, we still have the hidden heroic for Thrall, whether he's going to take Earthquake or it's going to be the Sundering for Dom. He looks like he's probably just waiting for that snap engage to decide. I'm leaning towards the Earthquake personally.
Yeah, me too.
But I suppose if he gets a really good Sundering angle, maybe it's just good enough to win them the fight. And yes, he's going to have to live with Sundering for the rest of the game, but sometimes that can turn a game around, that snap decision. We've seen it with Mosh Pit specifically a lot in the past. Coach are going to take this cap even with one Q there from Sake to help him clear it very quickly. Black has full control of the map right now. You can see both lanes are pushed towards blue side. They have Merc control. They painted the map red. The only one they haven't been able to get was blue side Shaman cap. And this is really unfortunate for Miracle. They need to, like I said, when they want to fight the Immortals, they need to be at least even. Cannot really fight behind. That's a really big issue with this composition. Because you can't really force anything with this comp. You can poke, but you can't hard engage unless someone makes a mistake.
Falstad is all drawing that big rotation of MVP Miracle, and they see that. And Kyocha's being a human ward in the middle every single time, and spot Honkono, and that's exactly the time Black has to retreat.
Honkono really wants to get a big power slide here for the pick. This is the kind of engaged potential that Miracle does have. It's really all about Honkono. And potentially Dami if he goes for the Sundering. We didn't actually talk about this, but Dami's worst hero of all time in terms of meta melee assassins has always been the Thrall. So it's kind of funny that we see this here against their sister team in this important match. He's trying to bring it back in. He's very aggressive position. Will he go ahead and lock that in? He locks in Earthquake. We do see he doesn't use it here. Sanctification, he wants to wait for that to expire. They're going to lose this Immortal for sure. They need to do something to make it worth it. Look at this, not even touching the Immortal of MVP Black.
They've used both Gust and Sank to save Nazebo from that fight. And here comes Honkono power sliding in, but Kyocha just blinks away for the time.
Honkono wants to look for something here. There's the Earthquake coming down. They ward them away from the Immortal, so they could try to catch up. They're 8k behind right now, but they are knocking this down very quickly. Everyone for Black kind of heading back, some tapping, getting some heals from Meriday as they head back in. Now they have a lead. So all they needed really was to bruise everybody from Black.
They still have their fountain on top and bottom forward. That's going to help them a lot. Try to defend this third Immortal.
This is the poking power, though. When you're ahead like this, it's just so easy to sit back and say, okay, well, I dare you to try to hit our Immortal. We'll just finish ours. And if you try to slowly approach, we just keep chunking it down. Look at that huge power slide here. Reset is vulnerable. Dami doesn't have too much mana. Doesn't even commit to the Spirit Wolf, not yet. Wants to wait for the bigger, larger engage as they just continue to poke right now. This is still going to be close. Black could absolutely still take this. No one is even in range for poking, and it looks like Miracle is just going to give this up for now as they head back for one more tap for the reset. Double stun here. Black is really trying to push the issue. It looks like they will win it 5K. They had that great start and they had really good zoning, and they had the talent tier advantage. Miracle was just not willing to overcommit to just force that Immortal down. So it's going to be back-to-back Immortals against them. This time with a much smaller shield, though. And no fort, so it's going to go directly to the keep wall. See it marching across now.
It's gonna make a lot harder for Miracle, and especially Hong Kong to make that. He has been making some good power slides, but no connection with Mosh, especially because he knows that his teammates will not be able to follow up with anything when he goes in, and they couldn't really get any picks, even though he had some great power slides in. That's also because Kyoto has not been showing himself during the team fights.
That's true. All right, the keep wall goes down. And he gets us a little bit of damage, just more about the keep wall and the EXP. Sake is going to soak a wave and also take this neutral camp all by himself. You take a small lead and you make it into a bigger one. And your ahead get further ahead as the saying goes.
We don't talk about globals too much on this map, but MVP Black with that Sake on Falstead, they're just trying to out-rotate, and they're doing a fine job out-rotating MVP Miracle right now. Meride
saving Coach a big time here. Gargantuan, awkward Gargantuan there, not really doing too much. But look at how much split push Sake is doing. He's going to start damaging the keep wall with these Impalers here. And when Miracle rotates down to try to collapse, Tist is there at the ready. They don't get the angle they want. This guy should be an engage for Black. They have Sanctification. Onkono is rolling down now. Looks like they're just going to conservatively rotate back as Kyocha is looking to push the top lane and get 16. He's going to start the neutral camp first. We're going to see Black take both camps right now. And how will Miracle respond? Will they invade or just sit back and soak? It's tough either way. They're going to have Honkono human warding to spot to see if anyone collapses on this location, and they're just going to take the safe approach. But this is a big win for Black because they get 2 camps and free soak and further map control with the lane push.
Miracle could have went all in with that invasion, but they knew Black was very close to 16, so we see them backing out after. Actually trying to move up to the top or to the side to invade. But I like these safe plays coming out from Miracle. They're taking this a lot more seriously, safely, especially from Honkono too.
Yeah, I mean, better safe than sorry. If you end up getting wiped here with both keep walls down, you just lose the game. We're 14.5 minutes in. The race is on, but MVP Black has a head start, already 10K ahead, and they're going to win halftime. Sake's not even there, by the way. He didn't go for the Q builds, or he didn't go for the auto attack build, so he didn't do too much in terms of autos. He just wants to make sure the lanes are pressured, make sure he's getting an extra soak, and now he's going to rotate back in. Does have Flight and Gust available. As we see, MVP is looking to kind of take a different angle for this fight. I say MVP, I mean MVP Black, of course. As they head around now. And you can see Miracle so forced to defend here. They can't even really poke. They barely touch the Immortal of Black, but the longer this goes on, maybe Miracle will be able to get this. Honkono with a big power slide on the retreat.
They're all over the map now. They can't really focus. Now MVP Miracle is together, but there is the Void Prison to stop 2 from the fight. Toilet Dream just for Kerosene right there.
Honkono is super low here after the Void. Drops the Mosh down though. Tist will be palmed. Meride, beautiful execution there as Sake now is on the chase, trying to knock Dami out of the fight. He's basically out of the fight anyways. He's not dead, but can't participate, and this is going to be Black sealing the deal on this Immortal, this time with 27K for the shields as they get the pick on the Sniper. That's going to make this even tougher to defend. And this looks disastrous now for Miracle. This may just be a game-ending Immortal as it has near full shields. The keep wall is down. They still have Sanctification. Ouch.
Sake is being so clever with his rotations, just making Falstad into a powerful weapon for the team. His rotations, and wherever he soaks, it's on the opposite lane where the camp is pushing on the other side every single time. And he doesn't even join when he is not needed. At the perfect timing, it flies in, use the Gust. What else do you need from Sake right now?
Well, not much. We do see a Holy Ground attempt here to lock Honkono in. Sniper is once again the target, but he does get out. all this pressure that forces Miracle to retreat means the Immortal is doing free range damage. The keep is already gone, still has half shields. And Miracle is just trying their best to defend this with minimal losses. If anybody dies, they lose this game.
They are stalling for 16, but they're a little bit far away from 16. Actually, Black may contest this and go for it. There's a Sank, and they're going to chop down the core. Thrall's the first one to blow up. Looks like this is going to be game for sure.
It definitely will. Kyocha's very low, but it won't matter. The Immortals should be able to finish this alone. Void here to help close everybody out, and MVP Black will take a dominant game here. Very tough to fight against all the poke that we saw on the side of MVP Miracle in the draft. I like their draft better, but Black was able to utilize Falstad to get extra soak and also force engages before Miracle was set up. I feel they were a little bit slow on the setup each time for each Immortal phase because of the Zeratul pressure, which was another big factor